Time. It feels non-existent to you. Darkness stretched infinitely outside the reinforced viewport, broken only by the distant cold light of faraway stars. Each sudden jolt of the pod made your chest tighten. Every breath felt heavier than the last, and the metallic thrum of the pod resonated through your bones. Claustrophobia begins to slowly creep into your mind like a parasite. As Daniel leaned on the console, hands hovering over the switches, his eyes were fixed on the black void beyond the pod's window. The weight of everything that had happened pressed down on him like a dumbbell he could not move. It was evident in the way his jaw clenched and unclenched, slowly with deliberate motion. "An hour. That's all we have before they reach us," he muttered. "Do you think they'll understand why we had to abort the ship?" you asked, a hint of uncertainty masked behind your voice. "To be truthful with you, I'm sure they have an idea. Even if they did..." Daniel's gaze shifted toward you, piercing your own as if speaking to your subconscious. "They'd send more people. People who don't know. People who will die like the rest." After an hour had passed on, a sudden jolt shook the pod, and your stomach lurched. You instinctively gripped the console, feeling the tremor run through your fingers like electricity. Daniel adjusted a dial, his movements precise, almost ritualistic. "We survived this," he muttered under his breath, voice low. "I'm never stepping foot on a fucking ship named Arceus again." The pod clamped onto the massive hangar bay with a resounding clang, dragging the vessel inside. Bright lights flooded the cabin, reflecting off polished metallic surfaces and revealing the exhaustion etched into your faces. A man stepped forward, tall and authoritative, signaling you to remain in place. "Gentlemen, welcome aboard the Wyndham Joel. Before you proceed to meet with the captain, you must go through decontamination first," he said. You complied, stepping out of the pod. Both of you are escorted into the chamber where white mist sprayed across your body. The cold droplets clung to your suit, washing away blood, grime, and the remnants of the Montelier II. Every droplet felt like a small exorcism, a reminder that you had survived. Yet, even as the grime disappeared, the memory of what had happened lingered like a shadow behind your eyes. Minutes later, you were led down the long, echoing corridors of the ship. The walls were metallic, the lights harsh but steady, casting elongated reflections that seemed almost to follow your movements. Each step made your mind race. One wrong move, one hesitation, and you could fall into chaos again. Eventually, you enter a conference room, sterile, functional, almost clinical. It felt alien compared to the horror you had just left behind. A man stepped forward, his uniform precise, hair slicked back as if attending a funeral. He carried himself with quiet authority that demanded attention without raising his voice. He pulls up one of the chairs from the wall, sitting across the table from you and Daniel. "I'm Captain Chris Rourke," he said. "You two experienced things considerably less than ideal aboard the RCS Montelier II, correct?" You and Daniel exchanged a glance, almost telekinetically, as memories of blood and terror flash across your minds. Slowly, you nodded. Chris's eyes narrowed, sharp and assessing. "We've heard the artifact, the Muganya, was aboard the ship as well. Is this true? If so, I'd like to understand why you two decided to abandon the ship instead of doing anything to salvage it." Daniel's expression hardened, his voice low and controlled, like steel under pressure. "Yeah, it's true. Listen to me, Captain. I've survived its effects. I know what it's capable of. Anyone who brings that artifact aboard a ship is asking for death. Everyone will become inhuman. You shivered at the memory of James, the black ooze that consumed him, the unnatural speed, the predatory strength. It wasn't human anymore. The image of him lunging, eyes empty yet calculating, returned unbidden, sending a shiver up your spine. No matter if you survived it once, Mr. Elson, you were briefed. You knew of the unknown power, the theories passed. You had all the information we had. And yet, Chris replied, leaning forward, his tone measured but unflinching. You agreed to go along with the ship, being sent to retrieve it? Daniel's jaw tightened, the tension radiating from him. I wouldn't say it was voluntary. You stepped forward, voice shaking but determined. Captain Rook, don't bring it aboard your ship. If the artifact controls minds, no one survives. You can't fight it. It would prove fruitless, pointlessly killing innocents, and all of that for what? Chris's gaze locked onto yours, assessing, weighing every word. For a moment, there was silence, an unspoken calculus in his eyes. Then, he spoke. We understand your concern, but Arclight leadership wants the Muganya secured. That is non-negotiable. You will remain in our holding cells until we arrive at the Montelier II for the retrieval. We will formulate a plan of operation to ensure we can carry out the remainder of the original mission. The tension hung in the room, thick as the memories of Montelier II. You wanted to scream, to protest, to make him understand the danger that wasn't just theoretical. It was alive, ravenous, and already consuming. Before you had the chance to explain the severity of the situation, the guards returned, armed this time around. Without protest, you and Daniel allowed the guards to lead you back through the corridors. The walls felt cold, unfeeling, and the fluorescent lights cast distorted shadows that seemed to slither along the metal. Every step was a reminder of the fragile line you were walking between safety and chaos. Finally, they led you to your new confinement, a small holding cell with a bunk bed, a sink, and a toilet. Lasers replaced the bars of the door, and the dim red emergency lights cast eerie shapes across the walls. You could almost see the shadows moving like whispering ghosts in corners. You paced in vexation, mind racing. You stopped for a moment and looked over to Daniel. You mean to tell me you had a first-hand account of the Muganya? You don't think that would have been something to tell me before we nearly fucking died? You shouted at Daniel. He remained calm, lying on the bottom bunk, eyes tracing the ceiling, lost in thought. Relax. Once they see the Montelier II, they'll finally grasp the gravity of what they're walking into. Maybe then they'll change their minds, or maybe it'll be too late. And if they don't, or God forbid they all die? Daniel sat up slowly, voice low. Then we do what we have to. Survive. That's all we can control. Hours passed, shadows crept across the walls, stretching unnaturally in the dim red light. You lay on the top bunk, replaying every horrific image from the Montelier. Blood, the black ooze, the grotesque transformation of the crew, the sounds of their final terrible moments echoing in your mind. Daniel, however, drifted into a restless sleep. Murmurs escaped his lips, fragments of memory from the first Montelier expedition. Nonstick, Artifact, Operation Omniscience, Arclight, we're the last. must stop it! A chill ran down your spine. The past wasn't done with him, and it wasn't done with you, either. You felt it in the silent hum of the ship, the faint vibration beneath your feet, the way the shadows lingered longer than they should. From the corner of the cell, a faint metallic click echoed. Too regular, too deliberate. You froze, heartbeat hammering. Was it just the ship? Is it just the four walls driving you to insanity? Or was it something already reaching out, pulling at the edges of control? In the cold void of space, safety was an illusion. The Arceus Montelier II floated silently, haunted by the Muganya and the horrors it had unleashed. Somewhere in the depths of the rescue ship, the Wyndham Joel, plans were being made. Plans that could doom more lives than you could imagine. And you were trapped in the middle of it. For now, all you could do was wait. Wait and hope that surviving this time wasn't just a temporary reprieve. Months down the line, the holding cell became your new home, only being let out to be briefed on the new mission. Arclight has now included you on their blacklist. Daniel already put on it before. When you heard Daniel speak of Operation Omniscience, you couldn't help but keep note of it in the back of your mind. Captain Rourke has instructed you and Daniel to be given audio recording devices. Its purpose is to keep a log of any personal confessions or thoughts that may intrude your traumatized minds throughout the process. Arclight only cares about the main objective now, the retrieval of the Muganya.